Welcome to the Real Texas Radio Podcast. I am your host, Bronan. Thank you for joining the show. If this is your first time listening, 1,000 welcomes. We are primarily going to be talking about today the latest violent assault on taxpayers, courtesy of the Dallas County Commissioners. But you know what the good thing is? What they've told us, COVID Clay Jenkins? Homelessness is down in downtown Dallas by 20%.
Sure, Dan.
Yes, and everybody who is blind and deaf believes that.
Only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking all about that. But before we dive in, if you haven't already, please make sure to like, subscribe, download, follow the Real Texas Radio Podcast from wherever you stream. And make sure also to follow the show on X at RTR_Bronan, RTR_Bronan. Most of the clips that I play on the show, and I've got a ton of sound today, so make sure you stick all the way to the end of the show for it. If I've got video for the sound, then I make sure to post it on X at RTR_Bronan. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right now, you're listening to the Real Texas Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Bronan, just a fed-up taxpayer bringing you all of your Texas, local, and national news. I can't even believe that I have to talk about this again so soon. I can't believe it.
Sad to tell, but ne'er do well. Most mixed up, delinquent on the block.
But we have to talk about the most feckless, hapless, worthless, useless group of elected people in Dallas, in Texas, perhaps. I know that didn't really narrow it down much for you, did it? The Dallas County Commissioners Court. Do you know what they're up to? They've been up to this now for a few months. They want to jack up your property taxes if you're a Dallas County resident, a homeowner, property owner. But then again, what politician in Dallas isn't trying to jack up your property tax rate these days? Because the assault is coming from everywhere. Oh, and your fellow citizens, the low IQ voters, the few who show up to the ballot for May elections, they just voted to increase their own property taxes for Dallas ISD in the $6 billion plus bond program. Meanwhile, the population of Dallas proper is shrinking. And all of the growth is going to the suburban counties, particularly Collin County, which has 1.3 million residents and counting. And you know what Collin County doesn't have? It doesn't have a county hospital. Like Dallas County has Parkland, the county hospital, which the homeless, junkie bum, criminal vagrant, mental patient, ne'er-do-well, recidivist reprobates, that's one of their frequent haunts. And even if you've never been in the Parkland Hospital, I've never been in the Parkland Hospital, but I have passed through the Parkland Hospital DART station, which is a mental patient outpost. Well, the Dallas County Commissioners, they voted these sneaky snake weasels, these serpents. Not all of them, but three of them in particular. The three do-gooder, pathetic white liberals, COVID Clay Jenkins, horrible, Teresa Daniels, worthless, Andy Summerman. They are all in contention for the worst politicians in Dallas County. They voted 3-2 to give you the opportunity as a taxpayer to increase your own property taxes again, to raise $150 million for homeless, junkie bum, criminal vagrant, mental patient, ne'er-do-well, recidivist reprobates, because you don't already fund that incorrigible group of layabouts enough. Am I right? So I have so many sound cuts. I am so overwhelmed with sound. And I've got it queued up here. I've got so much sound. Let's play the first cut. Here's COVID Clay Jenkins.
Who work on this issue. Dallas has seen a 21% drop in homelessness, while other large urban areas in the country have seen an increase in homelessness. But we've seen that drop.
You know what? That's enough. Every politician, every local pol in America says that homelessness is declining in their jurisdiction. It's other cities. It's other urban areas. It's other states where the homelessness is growing year after year with no end in sight. But not here, not in Dallas. So why then, COVID Clay, if you claim, which nobody with eyes that function believes, why then, if there is a 21% decrease in homelessness in downtown Dallas, then why do we need to spend another $150 million on it? And Sarah Khan, she is the CEO of Housing Forward, and she is about to inherit a windfall if you low IQ people, if you pass this property tax increase on yourself on November 3rd. She is got to be the biggest individual grifter. This is like the biggest nonprofit heist. If she pulls this off, she must have been popping champagne, hooping and hollering down on her historic property where the headquarters is for Housing Forward over in East Dallas. Here she is. This is her in the Dallas City Council. This was the end of last year, December 2025. You might want to have a vomit bag ready. The amount of BS that this lady can spew is astounding.
Essentially a full system view. So after someone has exited to permanent housing and we note that their subsidy has ended, then we track month over month of those people who has returned to our system. And that's the most reliable way to look at returns to homelessness.
So if you don't...
And you know what? All of the white people, they just start swooning. Most of them, not all of them. Some people know what a grifter she is. They see right through her in this Housing Forward organization, which is they're the point guard, and they connect everybody to the services, all the nonprofits, and they know how to solve homelessness. Just go to their website. It tells you we know how to solve homelessness. Well, if you know how to solve homelessness, why isn't it solved? If you know how to solve homelessness without this extra $150 million per year, then why isn't it solved? Why isn't it solved? Why are there, if you walk the streets of my neighborhood, why does it look like there are a bunch of people who just stuck their finger in the electric socket and they have no clothes on and they look like a cartoon character that's totally drugged out, strung out. They're in wheelchairs. They have taken over the sidewalks. They've turned the bus cabins into their house. They have created a radius around them that it just smells like urine. Why are they there if you know how to solve homelessness and you want more money? And it just got totally bizarre. COVID Clay Jenkins, who is he should be fired. This was COVID Clay Jenkins. Listen to this.
But I can kind of tell you, Clay 1.0 and 2.0 as an adult. 1.0 was a lawyer who was in a car wreck, dead for about 8 minutes. Had a pretty profound experience.
You were dead for 8 minutes? He said this on Tuesday. He said this on August 4th in public at the public meeting. The top elected official in Dallas County just claimed that he died for 8 minutes in a car wreck. Can anybody verify that? Is it possible to die for 8 minutes and then be elected and reelected again. I mean, can Joe Biden be reached for comment? Mitch McConnell? I mean, the crazy talk that goes on at these meetings, it is insane that these people are stewarding. I think their budget is close to $1 billion a year. They're over the jails. They're over Parkland Hospital. They're supposed to be over homelessness. They're supposed to be over health care. To their credit, and I will give them credit, and I think that they were being honest, John Wiley Price, who's been on the Dallas County Commissioners for over 40 years.
So let's talk about, paupers and lunatics.
And Dr. Elba Garcia, who she's tough to listen to, but those two, they voted against or giving us the opportunity. That's how Andy Summerman, the biggest hack on there. It's tough competition because they're all hacks, all 5 of them. But do-gooder white liberal phony baloney Democrats, these old boomer men, they're so repulsive and gross. And so he really thinks he's doing something by giving you the opportunity to increase your own property taxes. Do you know what I'd like the opportunity as a taxpayer? Why don't you put the cost of living adjustment that you give yourselves every year in the new budget to the voters? I would like an opportunity to vote on that if your salary should be increased significantly north of $200,000. Now they're going to be over $200,000 a piece. These worthless millionaires who don't do anything. I don't know how old Summerman is, but Price, he's well into his 70s. And Teresa Daniels, totally worthless and useless. She's 73. Here's Elba. This is her reason for not voting for this totally inappropriate tax that's just a money grab for grifter Housing Forward.
Court has always supported the bridge and the city of Dallas with homelessness issues. This county has passed last budget $6 million, and we still have an additional $4 million. So we are committed to help, with the homeless forward group and the homeless issue. I mean, there's been polls that talk about how people feel about homelessness, and we all want to help. It's just when you do these decisions, and I agree with some of the comments of Commissioner Price. Right now, when we're about to look at a big project for Dallas County, that is our duty to build a new jail, we have to be very conscientious more than any other time. When people are suffering right now with affordability, when people can afford gas, groceries, when people can afford housing, when young people have to wait until they're in their life.
Yeah, she's totally right about all of that. The county is going to be opening a new jail. They're going to be building a brand new jail, hopefully far the hell away from me, far away from downtown, hopefully out in the middle of the ocean somewhere, far the hell away from us, which we know the jail is just a big mental asylum where homeless people are just rotating in and out. Go look at the mugshots. It's all a bunch of druggies for the most part ending up in the jail, homeless druggies. You get to pay for them to stay in the jail. They come right out. They're basically in downtown Dallas. They run up to the DART stations, into homeless shelters in the streets. They just make bleep of downtown Dallas. AT&T, we know they're going to Plano. Another business has gone to Plano too. Daisy Brands, I believe, that they weren't in downtown Dallas, but it's not about money. It's about opening Crack Island and putting all of these homeless people there. And then if Housing Forward wants to go and minister and connect to services and rehab and strategies and tools in the belt, then they can go to Crack Island and do it there, and not another penny for these people. This is so gross. You think you give these... There's no amount of money that you can give these people that's going to be enough to get the allegedly whatever fake number they have, 5,000, 6,000 homeless people that just create such outsize, disproportionate havoc and maelstrom and bedlam in our downtowns everywhere. It's not about money. It's about getting them the hell out of our cities, deporting them, and giving a stern warning to anybody who thinks that they are going to live their lifestyle, their junkie bum lifestyle, layabout lifestyle in our cities, letting them know that's not acceptable anymore. And put away this fake, phony, baloney Democrat empathy that's worthless. COVID Clay, you live in Highland Park, not a whole lot of homeless people there. The police don't take kindly when someone tries to start an encampment in Highland Park, do they, COVID Clay? And one other thing that that Commissioner Elba Garcia, that she said, I didn't have the cut. I pulled so many cuts. It was such a crazy meeting. There was just such insanity and madness that was going on that I was listening to, that I was a little disorganized as I was grabbing my cuts. Boy, this was a day I could use a producer. But Elba Garcia, she pointed out, and there was very little discussion of that. There was no discussion other than her comment. This $150 million that the do-gooder white liberal hacks who don't deal with homelessness in their life, that they have no plan. There is no plan for this money. There is no strategy for the money. We'll just take the money and we'll give it to the grifter, the smooth-talking, cute little white lady. We'll give it to her. And she knows everything. She knows how to solve homelessness. So we don't have to worry. We don't need a strategy. President Trump, do you have any comments on this?
These are sick people. And, I said it the other day, and it maybe doesn't sound that important, but when a country goes bad, like look at the blue cities, what do they have in common, aside from massive crime? Much more crime. The Republicans have very little crime. But what do the blue cities have in mind? And also you can say this with nations when they go bad. The blue cities have something in common: crime, high crime, vicious, violent crime. But what do they have in common? They're all dirty. They're filthy dirty. Their streets are dirty. Their streets smell. Their storefronts are broken. Their trees are all gross. Everything about the place is dirty.
Thank you, President Trump. And yes, I am aware that Dallas has a Republican mayor, but guess what? He's basically a lame duck. He's in a Democrat-dominated council. It's a 100% Democrat county commissioners, all 5 of them. The school board, that body of lower thinking and low IQ, all Democrats, where it's all Democrats in these cities. And President Trump, he's 100% correct on that. While we're on the subject of low IQ Democrats, this is the Democrat candidate running for governor of Texas, Gina Hinojosa. I think she was on some podcast. Listen to the low IQ individual here.
What I wish press would cover and what I wish people understood is that it's all about corruption.
She's right about that.
In Texas, at least it is. We are paying into a system that is working against us. The legislation that I see that gets passed in the Texas House, the only legislation we get to vote on that comes before us is pushed by moneyed interests. That is corrupt, right? And so it is the reason why people are turned off about government. It's the reason why people are turned off by capitalism, because they're experiencing this crony capitalism that we have in this country now. And in Texas, in a big way, Texas has become a pay-to-play state. And as a result, we have skyrocketing taxes, property taxes, but we have over 150.
Yeah, let's talk about the property taxes. Who sets the property taxes in Texas, you moron? It's local government. It's the school board. It's the city council. It's the county commissioners. That is the structure of government in Texas. And in these blue cities, which you're going to be depending on to win, God forbid, I don't think it's going to happen, even though She's put out delusional polling like all these Democrats do, that she is within striking distance of Governor Abbott, who's got like $100 million. And, you know, they get these polls. They get about 10 people to participate in the poll. It's probably their immediate family. And then they claim that they're going to win the election. Put out fake polls to make it look like they're doing better. So, yeah, you know what? It is pay to play. And Housing Forward, they know that. And what a dope. What a dope Gina is. I have another cut here. This is at a CAP Metro. I think that's what the Austin Public Transit Authority is. This is one of their board meetings. And a bus driver came to share her experience as a bus driver. Austin, another blue city, which is going to be spending a ton more money in all likelihood on homelessness because the $1.5 billion plus that have flowed into Austin and Travis County over the last 5-6 years hasn't gotten the job done. They want to spend even more on it. And we know how the homeless, they get free public transit in Austin. And here's what the bus driver, this is what she's telling the board.
We are beaten, jumped on, spit on, but we're called essential workers. And those same people can ride the next day. Spit on a police officer, see what happened. Spit on an ambulance driver, see what happened. You can keep the essential worker deal. I would rather have the money.
You know what? I think you can get away with doing a lot to just about anybody these days if you're a homeless, junkie, bum, criminal, vagrant, mental patient, ne'er-do-well, recidivist, reprobate. What's going to happen? You're going to get arrested. You're going to be charged. You're going to go to the jail. You probably got 20, 30, 40 other charges. This is your umpteenth time in jail. And then you're going to be found mentally incompetent because your mental patient specialist public defender knows how the racket works. And then they just send you right out back into the street, right back onto the bus to spit on another black female bus driver. Because we know that many of the bus drivers, many of the light rail drivers, they are black. A lot of black women bus drivers, and they've all got stories. Nobody wants to interview them though about their experience with homelessness. I can tell you that. Actually, listen to this. This is going to run for maybe a couple of minutes here, but this was real interesting. So, COVID Clay Jenkins, who sounds like he's got an obstructed bowel, needs to get to the emergency room quick. This is him raising the issue of increasing the property tax rate. It's so high that it has to go to the voters in November because up to a certain point, the county commissioners, they can raise the property tax rate, which they do on a regular basis. If they want to go above that threshold, they need to get approval. So just listen to this exchange here, and then you're going to hear Summerman, the slippery fish that he is.
Exceeding voter approval rate VAR and proposing a tax election TRE.
I so move.
Well,
look, he couldn't wait. COVID Clay couldn't even finish the question. He couldn't even finish reading the scam item to raise the property tax rate. And there's Summerman. Get the tax up quick. Can't wait. We need more money for bums. Quick. I care so much. I'm a do-gooder white liberal.
all right, but they're well, okay, you moved. Is there a second to that?
Crickets.
Dr. Daniel, is there a second?
Look at that. Then COVID Clay. I didn't pull the video of this, but I've got a lot of these cuts on X, by the way, at RTR_Bronin, RTR_Bronin, if you want to see the video of some of the most bizarre remarks. And there was an abundance of them. So now COVID Clay, there's a motion on the floor in the chamber, and the two, they're equally bad do-gooder white liberals. But COVID Clay wants the property tax rate hiked because Housing Forward, she's got her hooks into him bad. He loves her. And Teresa Daniel, she's such a snake and such a worm that she doesn't want to be the second. She doesn't want to be associated with this property tax hike publicly. She ultimately went for it. So here we go.
This is
It's not going to be me. So
It's definitely not gonna be me.
No.
And, Judge, I got a substitute for you.
why if it doesn't pass it? We don't have a second.
There's no
I
second.
definitely cannot support, not even as a proposal, a higher tax rate when we have worked so hard for so many years to lower this tax rate.
Well, it's not that. The voter approval rate
Yeah.
is necessary
To go ahead and put
and
something
to
on the
proceed
ballot.
everything that budget
Mhm.
and the auditor and CFO said. Those are core responsibilities of Dallas County. And when we look at, and as I said, we haven't even gotten into the budget here in our park. I'm not there.
I'm not either. And without looking at language and other issues that will have to go into the ballot, exactly how they're going to do and what we're going to propose, I cannot, in my good faith, support this.
I do support it, and I think
Of
it
course
is-
you do.
We
Sorry
need
about
a
that.
second before we.
We ain't got a second.
That's a good point. Good point.
You don't have a second. That
You don't have a second.
Yeah.
fails.
Okay.
So,
Move on,
for
Judge.
purposes of discussion, I'll second.
Oh, you
this.
hack.
There are.
You hack. So that's how that went down. It can be if you watch these meetings, which is it's not easy, when they're usually the first hour of the meeting, and then throughout the meeting they do birthdays and retirement parties and celebrations and National Health Week and Pancake Day and Blue Sky Day and Green Grass Day. And every other stupid day on the calendar. They're phony baloney. They love to do that. They love to talk when it's all that crap. But you should see these slippery fish. They want to jack up your property tax rate. They are a total disgrace. This whole body. They need to be fired. Fine, I'll give Price and Garcia some credit for not going along with this. But this was so disgusting. And, I worry about November because it's going to be a packed ballot. And it's going to be all the Democrats showing up. It's going to be so they can punch a ticket for Talafrico. They can't wait for that. That's probably all they know about. Governor, I suppose most people probably know who the governor is, even if you're a low IQ voter who moves into a different apartment every year, and you'll be gone from the state in a few years after you do enough damage with your electoral negligence. So, if this is now going to be on the ballot, it's probably going to be down ballot. Maybe people will be, obviously Talarico. And then Ken Paxton is on the ballot. That's the other big race that people care about. Very quickly on Ken Paxton, I've got to cut. Ken Paxton, he's on a tour. I think he's got 4 or 6 locations, and one of them was in Allen. That's Collin County, I believe, right? That should be friendly territory for Ken Paxton. Well, this is him on the stage. We still don't have a debate planned for Ken Paxton, and I think it's becoming clearer and clearer why Ken Paxton doesn't want to put himself in a debate situation. This is him. He's on the stage. He's got his cowboy boots on and the microphone.
It's okay.
They're not booing at Ken Paxton. They're some woman with a walker and a Talarico sign showed up, and she's getting escorted out. So presumably she's getting booed there. But come on, Ken, we'd love to see a debate. We'd love to see some debates on the calendar. More than an hour would be great. If we could have like a 2-hour debate, we'd love that. Have a few of them. We'll see what happens. Dallas City Council, they met on Wednesday. I'll move on just very quickly. And I noticed this potential candidate, a rumored candidate. His name is Ben Abbott. I don't know if he has any relationship to the governor, Greg Abbott. But, that's, I guess if you're a Republican candidate, it can be fortunate to have a name like that, just like having the name Kennedy and showing up on a ballot. And this, he spoke during the open speakers portion of the Dallas City Council on Wednesday, their first meeting back from their July recess, well deserved, right? And this is what he's proposing. He's not officially a candidate yet. He's a lawyer. He advertises on TV as well.
Today I'm here to speak in support of the bond that funds the Dallas Law Enforcement Training Facility. On Friday.
That's your first comment, one of your first public comments. You come to City Council, and the first thing out of your mouth is, I support a tax hike. I support a tax increase. Oh, because in addition to the tax hike that you're going to have the opportunity to vote on, courtesy of the feckless Dallas County Commissioners, there's going to be another opportunity, quite likely, from the Dallas City Council to vote on a bond, which is debt, which is a tax increase, for more funds for the new Dallas Police Academy. And so now I'm on the fence here. How can you be in support of public safety, but then you don't want to pass the bond? Well, because they already have secured, I believe, hundreds of millions of dollars over the last several years from the state, I believe from the feds, from locally, from a previous bond. So let's see what we can do with what we already have. And, maybe we don't need to have the gold-plated Versailles of Police Academy. I'm just saying, as a voter, we're getting smacked from every direction, from both sides of the face, top of the head, and behind. So that's now we've got two mayoral candidates, one declared, one thinking about it. It's early to declare with the election over a year away. Tax hike Mike Hinojosa. He loves to increase property taxes, which he promoted, supported while he was superintendent of Dallas ISD for many years. He always tried to get the board to increase the property tax rate. And now we've got Ben Abbott. First thing out of his mouth. Property tax hike. I support it. This is just crazy. It is so crazy. You got to wake up, Dallas voters. We can't have this 8% turnout. This is what you get. And guess what? If you don't vote, it means you voted. If you don't vote, it means that you voted to increase your property taxes. That's what not voting does. That's every time you don't vote, you voted for higher taxes. Oh, I don't pay property taxes. I'm a renter. You're an idiot. All right, I'm Bronin. Thank you for tuning into the Real Texas Radio podcast. And this was an angry show. I was angry today. I'm angry. I'm mad. And keep tuning in. Keep listening. Follow me on X at RTR_Bronin, RTR_Bronin.